Greetings, you guys. Welcome back to Unshakable with April Chapman, where we discuss all things social, cultural, political, and theological from a biblical perspective. I'm your host, April Chapman, and welcome to today's show. Yes, I am back again, and today we've got to talk about Candace Owens again. And listen, I know some people are tired. Y'all are tired of hearing about this, and trust me, I am too. Believe me, I get it. However, there's a reason why this matters. And it matters because what we are watching in real time is what happens when a person just turns their bitterness and hatred. We're watching them turn that into content. I hope you've noticed that's what you're watching now. This is content creation on the basis of bitterness and hatred. Candace's personal resentment of Kirk has now become her entire platform. And I need you guys, my audience, to know that this isn't value-driven content at all. This isn't content that is going to change anyone's life or shape the culture in any measurable way. This is simply one woman who is using private information to frame herself as the moral authority. This is when you know that you've hit rock bottom and that you have nowhere else to go. So you resort to this. So this is what you do. You turn your platform and all of your influence into low value, gutter bunny behavior because you're in a ratchet hang. Okay, when you're a female imbecile who cannot manage your misery, the misery causes you to show out like this. It's sad to watch. When you're unable to restrain yourself, when you can't control yourself and you've been taken over by Satan for the destruction of your flesh, unable to give whatever it is or whoever it is who hurt you, you can't give that over to God. No. So instead, Candace recently sat, and I don't know how long ago this interview was recorded, but this clip is going around, and she discussed intimate details about Charlie Kirk's life before his marriage to Kirk. So what we're going to do, we're going to take a look at this clip, and it's disgusting, but we need to unpack it.
At Del Frisco's. And I remember meeting Erica at Del Frisco's. And
did Charlie introduce you guys? Was it with Charlie?
He wanted me to come meet her. I was excited to meet her because she was giving him attention. And what I mean by that is, out of respect for their marriage, I won't get into too much detail about the time before he met her. It's not offensive to the marriage. It's like, obviously people try to date before, and he was trying to date this girl that he was totally obsessed with. Basically every time this other girl would text him, I was texting her back. I basically had to become a lesbian for a year. As he just goes, what she's back? I'm like, at some point you're gonna have to text her yourself. And he was just obsessed with her, reading back on those messages of this girl who then became one of my best friends and was in my wedding because of how much I felt like I was chasing her, because I liked her a lot, that the girl that he was chasing, and I knew that she was going to let him down because it was very obvious that she wasn't into him, and he was heartbroken about it. Then Tyler Boyer sets up this, I have this person for you to meet, and he comes and he's like, oh, well, she's a bit older, and initially he was like, I'm just going to use her to try to get so-and-so jealous or whatever, because this was the first date or whatever. And then she was a bit more persistent and giving him the godly spiel, and the messages, and I'm just going through our messages, look, this is maybe what God wanted me to have. And, he was sort of wrapped in on, hooked on that because Charlie was a Christian. And so when I went to meet her, obviously my first instinct as a woman was that she was older than me. And I just thought, that's kind of weird that she would be into Charlie, because Charlie's quite young in those ways. He's an absolute genius. He's got so much going for him, but he's young in those ways. And he was inexperienced, and he's been very open about the fact that he was a virgin when he got married. So I don't feel like I'm oversharing here. And to be clear, I'm going to say I became best friends with the girl he was chasing. She was
Listen. Loose lips. Okay, first thing I noticed, I'm going to unpack this line by line. But before we do that, this thought just popped into my head when never mind the disrespect of her talking about this other chick who Charlie was seeing before Erica, but something stood out to me that I didn't catch before. she said that this girl was obviously not into Charlie. This your homeboy, this your friend. But you know for a fact that this chick is really not into Charlie, but you know that he's feeling her. You take it upon yourself to start texting the girl, and then somehow this girl, who doesn't see the value in how great of a guy Charlie is, so much so that she's really just not that into him, somehow this girl becomes your friend, so much so that you put her in your wedding. One, this let me know that Candace doesn't really have genuine friendships. She doesn't really have a lot of friends. So some random chick that Charlie Kirk was seeing for a hot minute becomes close enough to you that you put her in your wedding? And you already have 2 sisters? So this random chick, you put her in your wedding because you just, in my opinion, I don't believe Candace Owens knows what it means to be a friend and how to foster genuine friendships that are not transactional and utilitarian. Just thought I'd highlight that. Chick you don't even know, who you kind of know through someone else, just it doesn't work out, and you're like, hey, come be in my wedding. So you meet a guy, you barely court him, but somehow in your quote unquote lavender marriage, 18 days later, you're scrounging around to put people in your wedding, and you pick a girl that your bestie really was quote unquote feeling or crushing over, but she wasn't feeling him, but she's in your wedding. Anyway, I'm gonna let her finish. I just wanted to bring that up because I thought that was fascinating. But then again, with narcissists, they don't really connect and have a whole lot of friends, and because loyalty, all of their relationships are about what they can get from you, and they all serve a purpose. Everything is very strategic in how they do things.
Fun, I just nothing, just what everyone kind of sees now, just kind of okay, but I did not care, and I supported. I was like, go for this. Right. Every message will show.
But you were never friends with Erica.
No, because there just was something like, I don't know. I can't explain it.
Did you ever think that she wanted it that way? Did you ever think that she wanted you out?
Hindsight is 2020. Probably had the vision about his death. Erica came into his life. They were dating sort of quietly. I meet George, fall head over heels, get married, get engaged 18 days later. And I just replay 2018 in my mind all the time. And then in 2019 was when suddenly I start to realize like forces are sort of,
some things just happen.
New people are arriving in his life. He's got a PR agent, Stacey Sheridan, and I'm going, these people are weird. But I never thought Erica, because I just thought didn't even look into her. Like, this is just going to be a girlfriend, and it's great that he has a girlfriend and he's getting experience with
and happy.
Can someone answer me this? Why does she feel that it was her responsibility? She said, I never looked into her, as if Charlie Kirk needed you to look into anybody he is dating. Okay. So here it is obvious that she is talking about Charlie Kirk's dating history. She talked about him meeting Erica. She talked about these private dynamics, text messages and things. This woman is talking about things that she claims she doesn't want to overshare, and then proceeds to overshare like the Holy Spirit, which is she is not indwelled with at all, had just left the group chat. Ma'am, what is wrong with you? Lord, please help me to deal with all of this from a biblical perspective. Listen, I'm going to just make it real plain. If Erica was my friend, Erica's my friend, right? She's my homegirl. We would have dealt with Candace a long time ago. Listen, okay, look, the shorty from the Bronx, like the shorty with the most from the Bronx, Or we would have met the Stamford, Connecticut Project Ponytail shape shifter Candace Owens. Or she would have got dealt with. Okay? But I love Jesus. I love Jesus now. Okay? I'm a new creation. I am crucified with Christ. Okay? On top of the fact that I am somebody's mama, and I know the stereotype is that all we like to do is fight. Listen, the power of the Holy Spirit would restrain me because I am crucifying my flesh. But I am telling you on everything that I love, there is more than one way to skin a cat. And if Erica Kirk was my bestie, yeah, we'd be making a trip up to the Nashville. I'm just saying. And unregenerated April, if I was Erica's friend, Tennessee. Okay, listen. Anyway, let's get back from a biblical perspective. Okay? Scripture has so much to say about the tongue, about discretion, about having boundaries, how we should honor marriage. This is about the kind of woman who is tearing down versus building up. So the first thing I want to do, let's just walk through what Candace actually said in this clip. She begins this clip by telling the story of meeting Erica at a steakhouse called Del Frisco's. Love Del Frisco's, super nice place. And she says Charlie introduced them. And she claims that she was excited to meet Erica because, Erica was giving Charlie attention. And then she says, quote, out of respect for their marriage, I won't get too much into the detail. And I'm like, stop right there, right? Like that sentence alone is where this whole thing should have ended, right? If she loved Charlie the way she claims to love him, this should have been the end of that whole tirade right there. But no, y'all know the narcissists, they can't help themselves. They don't have a limit. They don't have self-awareness. Common sense should have told Candace Owens that if you have to say out of respect for their marriage, ... then the next words out of your mouth should probably be, so I'm not going to talk about it. That is how discretion works. That is how mature people function. That's how grown women who understand boundaries and who have self-control, this is how we operate. But Candace goes and says, I won't get into too much detail, and then she gets into all of the details. It's no different than somebody saying, you mean I don't like to gossip, right before they're about to open up the gates of Messyville and let the whole herd run loose. Yes, you do mean to gossip. All you wanted to do was put a disclaimer to make the godless and tasteless words that are about to come out of your mouth, you just trying to make it sound holy. And so here's my admonition. Christians need to stop falling for this. Okay, because listen, there's a difference between exposing truth and then revealing what should have remained private. Listen, we're called to know the difference between righteous discernment and emotional exhibitionism. There's a difference between warning people and then weaponizing personal access and information that is not meant for public consumption. But Candace violates all of that right here in this 3 minute short. Candace goes into a whole story about Charlie allegedly just being obsessed with another woman. Notice she never opines about how Charlie feels or felt back then about meeting Erica Kirk, but she focuses on Charlie being obsessed with this other woman. I'm like really? Like why are you telling the world this? His widow is still alive. His minor children. You claim to be his friend, and this man has a whole wife and minor children that are still actively in the public eye. What kind of friend does this? I will tell you, a friend, this is not a friend, because a friend loveth at all times. A true friend means that whether you are dead or alive, you honor the bond that you had, and you respect me by respecting my wife. You honor me by respecting my children. You don't sit on the internet opining about some other chick that you claim I was obsessed with when I am not here to defend myself. It may be true, it may not be true, but how much of a gutter bunny do you have to be this vile? Like, literally, she's talking about texting this other woman on Charlie's behalf. See, y'all don't understand that little detail, y'all. That little detail, Candace provided that because she wants to paint herself as the self-appointed historian for all things Charlie Kirk. You got to remember, y'all, the narcissists, they have to center everything around them. Even they will make up the story, put themselves at the center of it. They're the smartest person in the room, right? Like, they're the ones that are leading and guiding the ship. So why would Charlie's love life be any different in Candace's little warped mind? In her mind, she's like, but you know, Charlie, he's the inexperienced, wet behind the ears good guy. And Candace is trying to position herself like, she knows the ropes, and she's the one that he confided in for all of his major life decisions, including who he was dating, including who he was falling head over heels with. This is somebody new in my life. I want you to meet them. And she's trying to position it like, well, I never really looked into her. So I'm like, if all of this is true, then maybe if you're saying Erica is as bad as you say she is, then maybe we need to blame you. Because if you were his friend and you didn't look into her, maybe you should have looked out and been a little bit more careful. But that's not what this is about. That's a smokescreen. Candace is full of crap. This is absolutely despicable. The narcissist always tries to make themselves way more relevant and way more important than they really are. I mean, you let Candace tell it. She groomed Charlie into the political firebrand that he eventually became to be. Like, without Candace Owens, Lord knows who Charlie Kirk would be. Charlie Kirk wouldn't be anything if it wasn't for her in her mind. And then she jokes that basically she had to become a lesbian for a year because she was texting the other woman so much. That doesn't make sense. You say Charlie was head over heels for this girl. So if a guy is head over heels over someone, he's going to be the one to want to text her. But since you say he would never text her, allegedly because he was so head over heels for her, that you were the one texting her. Something about that seems incredibly inconsistent, but maybe it's just me, because I know even a guy, if he is truly head over heels about a girl, and even if he's nervous and he doesn't know what to say, he's going to go out of his way to communicate with her. But you claim he was so smitten by her. Is it that he let you text her because he was too afraid to do it himself, but yet he could manage to bag a chick like Erica Kirk? Girl, don't nobody believe this. I'm going to tell you what I believe. A lot of this story, there are some true facts in it and a recounting of true events, but it is sprinkled with all kinds of misrepresentations and hyperbole and truth according to Candace, because it's in her mind. She's got you out here. Because my thing is, if you knew this chick wasn't really that into Charlie, why would you be texting this girl, trying to force Charlie onto her when you've already got intel that this woman is not genuinely interested in Charlie and was already making her intentions known? She says that this woman became one of her best friends and was even in her wedding. I'm like, so let's Let's just pause there for a minute. First of all, why are we even here? Is anybody going to ask that? Like, why does the public even need to know this? Who asked for this? Nobody asked for this. What does this have to do with Erica Kirk? What does this have to do with getting justice for Charlie? What does this have to do with truth? What does this have to do with Charlie's legacy? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. But it's this gutter, low vibrational content because Candace's entire podcast has been turned into a slanderous, emotional scrapbook. That's it. This is all she has. She cannot add value to the podcast media marketplace any other way other than resorting to this. Erica Kirk did not sign up to have Candace Owens flipping through Charlie's old romantic memory box on the internet, yet here we are. The public is just consuming this drivel. And I'm sitting here like, Candace says that she doesn't feel like she's oversharing because Charlie's been open about being a virgin when he got married. Okay, I get that. But just because someone shares one detail about their life publicly does not give you the right to build an entire episode around the intimate details of their private life. It's not your story to tell. Listen, I'm going to just give y'all this is a heads up. You do not want a friend like Candace Owens. I'm telling you what I know about these opportunistic leeches. People like Candace Owens will latch onto you because it ain't because they genuinely care about you. Trust me, they are only in your life for what they can get from you. They will love bomb you in the beginning and you will think this my best friend. He's the best thing since sliced bread and we like 2 peas in a pod. And then they use you to bolster their credibility, use you to name drop, use you to get access. They want you to give them access to whatever it is that you are building because they feel entitled to it. And the moment that you decide that you don't want them no longer in your orbit because, I don't know, you discover how toxic they are, oh, the gloves are off. Oh, the gloves come off. Here comes the whole smear campaign, complete with all of their flying monkeys and everything. The flying monkeys, that's their audience. They have these brain dead loyal followers, also known as flying monkeys. I am telling you what I know because I have lived this. Okay, listen, the narcissists, they don't have boundaries and they don't know how to be a genuine friend. You may have been a genuine friend to them, genuinely helped them, loved on their family and did all kinds of things for them. But these people have no honor and they have no integrity. And you can't claim to be a Christian and behave this way. You just can't. Proverbs 11:13 says, whoever goes about slandering reveals secrets, but he who is trustworthy in spirit keeps a thing covered. Listen, the writer of this proverb is saying a trustworthy person, they know how to keep a thing covered. Not because they're trying to hide sin. It's not because they are afraid of the truth, but it's because they understand that not everything that you know is yours to say. It's called wisdom. That's a whole word right there. Not everything that you know is yours to say. What y'all need to understand is some people will confuse proximity with permission. They think that because they were in the room and because they saw the messages and because they knew the people, this one, that one, and the third, and because they had access, they believe that to mean that they have authority. And I'm like, no, access is not authority. Knowing details does not make you the narrator. Just because you were present, it doesn't make you the owner of somebody else's story. It's not yours to tell. See, yes, Candace used to have access. Used to. That's called past tense. Remember? And I believe this is why she is so angry. This is where Candace's lack of discretion, it is screaming louder than the actual words that are coming out of her mouth in this clip, because she keeps trying to frame all of this as concern. And there was red flags there the whole time. I just wasn't paying attention to them. This is what it sounds like. This is possession. This is a married woman cloaking her concern behind possession and obsession. Please believe this. Oh, it sounds like I knew him first. Oh, I understood him better than you. Yeah. Okay. I was there before her. See, you don't know. I was always there. I saw what she didn't see. I know the real story. I'm sitting here like, Candy girl, ma'am, your behavior is, as the young folks say, it's giving territorial. Okay, it's giving that I lay in bed every night thinking about how emotionally entangled I am and have always been with Charlie Kirk, even though he didn't marry me and I'm already married to somebody else. It's giving that I still think that I have a seat at a table where a place setting was never set for me. I mean, it's giving that. I know I'm not the only one that sees it. I mean, I could be wrong. I don't know. These are my opinions. And it's just what I see. Now, y'all do know it is virtually impossible. You can't talk about this subject without talking about marriage. I just mentioned that Candace is actually married. To what extent and the type of marriage it is, I don't know. But the part that too many people are missing is that Charlie Kirk was not just a public figure. Charlie Kirk was a husband. Erica Kirk is not just a public figure. She is a widow. And whether or not you like Erica, whether you don't like Erica, whether you trust her or not, whether you have questions or whether you don't have questions, the biblical standard does not disappear because the internet wants drama. I have another scripture, Hebrews 13:4. Here's what it says. Let marriage be held in honor among all. Among all. That means even critics. That means even among the commentators and among former friends and among people who've got unresolved feelings. Marriage is to be held in honor. It is one of the ways that we honor marriage is by refusing to insert ourselves into marital narratives that do not belong to us. So Candace talks about Charlie's alleged feelings for another woman. And she's talking about Erica being older. That's just her trying to just be messy and shady. But she says that Charlie was young and inexperienced. And then, I don't know if you caught this, she mocks Erica's faith by saying, well, she gave him the old godly spill. I'm like, don't miss that. Y'all, Candace absolutely despises believers, Christians. Oh, she's trying to build a whole narrative where she frames Erica as persistent and then frames Charlie as impressionable. And she's doing all of this to once again lead her audience to the cistern of suspicion for them to just drink their fill. Oh, yeah. The goal here is to frame herself as the woman who saw it all oh so clear. She just had the clarity and the vision even way back then. Do you see the narrative? Charlie's naive. He didn't know any better. Erica is suspicious and she's the fake Christian who deceived Charlie. And in all of this, Candace is the one who's insightful. Well, how convenient is that? Isn't it amazing how the narcissistic person, their storytelling always seems to position them, the speaker, as the only sane and smartest person in the room who just knew? They always had the sneaky suspicion. Everybody else is confused. Everybody else is manipulative and being manipulated. Everybody else is weird. Everybody else has motives, but the person telling the story, oh no. Candace, she's just the brave little truth teller with a microphone and absolutely no boundaries. Girl, bye. Look, none of this is noble. This is so wrong. This is wrongshiousness and just nastiness. This is the kind of thing that would be so inappropriate to be talking about at a brunch table. So I'm trying to understand, why in the world is this appropriate discussion in an interview? I'm going to tell you. Candace thought this was appropriate because, in my opinion, Candace's character, this is a reflection of trash character. Let me say this. Look, if Erica Kirk has not given Candace permission to publicly dissect her marriage, then Candace needs to leave this woman's marriage alone. Period. Leave it alone. And what makes this much worse is Candace claims she thinks she's exposing Erica. But the thing is, in order to make Erica look bad, she ends up putting Charlie's private life on display too. But she don't care. Okay, she's blinded by her obsession. This is what obsession does. It stops caring about all of the collateral damage, right? The goal is destruction. Okay, and so once destruction becomes the goal, everybody becomes expendable. Even the person that you claim to love, even the friend that you claim you are defending, even the dead man. Oh, you claim you're trying to protect his legacy. Yeah, okay. Well, this is why the Bible talks about bitterness, the root of bitterness being so dangerous. Got another verse for you. Hebrews 12:15. Here's what it says. See to it that no one fails to obtain the grace of God, that no root of bitterness springs up and causes trouble, and by it many become defiled. Y'all, bitterness, it doesn't stay contained. It's impossible. It is bound to spread, and it will defile, and it will contaminate every single thing that it touches. That is what we are watching. There is nothing clean or sober-minded or restrained about this. This is a root of bitterness, and it's producing public fruit. And the fruit is rotten, and it is rotten to the core. And Candace keeps talking about Erica. Candace keeps circling the wagon around Erica. Candace keeps questioning Erica. Candace keeps framing Erica as suspicious and manipulative and ambitious and dangerous. And at some point, even people who may have had questions need to step back and say, why, Candace, why are you so fixated on this woman? Why does Erica occupy so much space in your mind? Why does another woman's marriage require this much commentary for you? It is almost June, for heaven's sake. Charlie Kirk passed away in September. I'm going to tell you why. Back then, in those early stages, I told y'all this chick wasn't going to stop. I was like, it's going to get worse. She's just getting started. And the reason why? Because the obsession is starting to outshine the accusation. And when your obsession becomes more obvious than all of this evidence you claim you have, you're not helping your case, right? You're making the target look more sympathetic. Congratulations, Candace Owens. You keep playing yourself. And now the world is sitting back watching, trying to figure out, how did you become a crash test dummy in a marriage or a situation and a tragedy that didn't even concern you? We're trying to figure it out. And so I know I've talked a lot about narcissist and narcissism. And in this episode, I want to be very clear. Y'all, listen, I'm not diagnosing anyone. Like, I can't diagnose Candace Owens. Okay, I'm not trying to be out here perpetrating the fraud. Like, my name is Cheyenne Bryant. Okay, I am not a therapist. Okay, I'm a college dropout. Let's make that very clear. I don't have a couch or a clipboard, and I don't collect copays, but I can talk about patterns. Yeah, we can do that. And one of the patterns that you often see in toxic and narcissistic people is their behavior refuses to respect boundaries. Look, a person like this, they may believe that their feelings justify their words. They talk about their pain, so they think that their pain justifies them being cruel. And their suspicions justify their accusations. And then they believe that because they at one point had access to you, that it justifies their destruction. And they lack, sadly, because they lack the self-awareness to realize how bad they look while they're doing all this. Candace, in her mind, believes that she is damaging Erica Kirk. But what she doesn't realize is what she's actually doing is giving the audience and the watching world a front row seat to her own crash out and her own lack of restraint. And she does not want, she claims, oh, I don't want to overshare. And then she overshares. She says, that she respects the marriage and then goes right ahead and dishonors the boundaries that are around somebody else's marriage, claiming she supported Charlie Kirk, but then publicly will discuss details that make him look naive and lovesick and inexperienced and easily influenced. Friends don't do this. Friends do not do this. She got out here talking about she asking questions, but always questions. The questions always seem to lead to Erica being painted as the villain. Why is that? There's nothing balanced or measured or fair about Candace's criticism of Erica. It's just a narrative campaign. That's it. And Christians need to be very careful when someone is packaging their bitterness as them being a brave truth teller. Sometimes what people try to cloak as boldness is just unhealed pride. Listen, at the end of the day, Candace is playing with fire. She is. Candace is playing with fire. And the tragedy is that she may think that she's burning down Erica, but she's actually standing in the smoke herself, because every time that she speaks this way, she reveals more about herself than she does about Erica. She reveals that she lacks restraint. She has no self-control. She lacks discretion. She lacks reverence for marriage. No compassion for a widow, completely lacking in self-awareness, no wisdom. And the Bible makes it very clear that when words are many, transgression is not lacking, but whoever restrains his lips is prudent. When words are many, transgression is lacking. Y'all, that's a whole sermon. That's a whole sermon right there. Like, sometimes the more that people talk, the more that they tell on themselves. And Candace is talking a whole lot. And at the end of the day, y'all, Erica don't have to respond to this. Honestly, I hope that she does not. Like, sometimes silence is not weakness, okay? Silence is a strategy. Silence is how you maintain your dignity. Silence is letting a person destroy their own credibility without handing them more oxygen. Look, Candace, she's trying to get a reaction. She appears that she wants a fight, right? She wants Erica to come down into the mud with her. But y'all, Erica is way too fly for this, okay? Beauty queen, sweetheart, who married a man at the top of his game, like Charlie Kirk. They don't stoop down to play in the mud with gutter bunnies. They don't do that. Erica, don't come down here. Erica, if you ever watch this, do not come down here. Let the person slinging mud explain why they're all covered in mud. Because when someone is determined to destroy you, the worst thing that you can do is to join them in the demolition. We don't have to avenge ourselves. We leave that to the wrath of God. It doesn't mean that you never speak the truth. It doesn't mean that at sometimes you never defend yourself. But what it does mean that you don't have to answer every barking dog filled with rage and jealousy on the internet. And yes, I said barking dog. Because sometimes the most biblical response to the foolishness and the wrongsomeness is not a 45-minute rebuttal. Sometimes the biblical response is, may the Lord rebuke you. And you just keep walking. You don't use a dead man's dating history as ammunition against his widow. That is not love. Nothing about that is righteous. It is ugly. And somebody needs to say it. Candace may think that she's exposing Erica Kirk, but what she's really exposing is how consumed she has become. And when a person becomes that consumed with destroying somebody else, Lord have mercy, eventually the destruction is imminent. That is what bitterness does. This is what pride does. And a lack of restraint. This is what happens. It will sink the ship from the inside. Like I said, loose lips sink ships. And right now, Candace is drilling holes in her own boat while blaming Erica Kirk for all of the water. So I am curious to know, what do you guys think? Do you think Candace crossed the line by speaking this way about Erica and Charlie Kirk's marriage? I mean, this was pretty low. But I want you guys to drop your thoughts in the comment section. Listen, be respectful. Okay, we can tell the truth without acting like we were raised by wolves in the comment section. So like this video, share this video, subscribe to the channel, share this with someone who needs a biblical reminder that not everything you know is yours to say. And until next time, you guys stand firm, stay bold, and above all else, stay unshakable. Grace and peace.